After her boyfriend demanded her to lend him money in exchange for a date, Momo Ayase becomes vexed and gets into a fight with him after the latter brings up ideas of having sex with her at a hotel, which results in the two breaking up. She then meets with her friends after becoming heartbroken, but is asked by one of them on what she liked about her former boyfriend. Momo states that the only reason was because he looked like Ken Takakura, since she has a liking for the male actor, which her friends found ridiculous. While walking the halls feeling depressed, Momo looks to see a male student being bullied in a class and chooses to come to his aid by sitting in front of his desk while glaring at the bullies. After they cease their assault on him, Momo leaves but is caught up by the male student she was defending. The male student then passionately talks to her about the topic of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, but only ends up causing Momo to become annoyed by his constant ranting. Though she did not intend to become friends with him, Momo apologizes after seeing how she made him feel bad and tells him that she only believes in ghosts rather than aliens. Upon telling him this, Momo angrily sees the male student smirking at her with a disapproval that ghosts exist and justifies that her grandmother is a psychic. The two then get into an argument on their beliefs and end up challenging each other on whether UFOs or ghosts are real. Late at night, Momo and the male student arrive at each other's designated areas to prove who is right. Momo enters the Nagi hospital where the male student believes that UFOs are suspected to appear, while the male student arrives at a tunnel where Momo believes that a ghost is suspected to appear. While conversing through the phone, Momo talks about her past on how she used to hate her grandmother for causing her to get bullied by the boys at her school, including by a boy she liked for having to perform a spell her relative instructed her to do, but would soon come to realize that her grandmother and her job as a medium was special to her, which is the very reason why she believes in ghosts. Shortly after, the male student finds himself face to face with an elderly spirit and runs away in panic while refusing to believe that what he saw was an actual ghost he encountered. Momo tries to warn him that the ghost is known as the Turbo Granny, and that if he gets caught by it, he will be cursed. She then hears the male student screaming over the phone after the ghost manages to catch up to him on his bike and prepares to head out to his direction to help. However, after looking up in front of her, Momo becomes frightened to see three mysterious figures out in the hallway. She turns around to run away but is stripped and captured by them. The three figures introduce themselves as the Serpo, an alien species who wishes to acquire reproductive functions similar to the human race. One of the Serpo then unveils a robotic device from their crotchal region with the intent on extracting her womb and bananas through sex. Momo tries to break free from her restraints, but is subdued after the Serpo uses psychokinesis to make her feel aroused. Before they could go any further, the ringing on Momo's phone catches the Serpo's attention and causes the aliens to become surprised after the Turbo Granny ghost emerges out from it and bites off the crotch device on the Serpo. Momo then sees that the ghost is actually the male student being possessed. The Serpo refuses to allow the possessed human to intrude and transforms, but find themselves unable to react on time to its speed. After using their psychokinesis to stop them, the male student tells them that he will give them whatever they want and expresses how he always wanted to meet aliens, since he never had any friends who acknowledged him until he met Momo, and begs them not to hurt her. The Serpo overpowers him with their psychokinesis and continues to stimulate Momo's arousal, which causes her to remember her grandmother's instructions on needing to perform the spell she told the male student earlier in order to release her Shui. As a result of the Serpo overstimulating her brain, Momo manages to release her psychic powers to escape from her restraints and realizes that her grandmother is a real psychic. She then sends the Serpo flying with a kick, causes part of the UFO to be destroyed, and manages to suppress the Turbo Granny, possessing the male student, who warns her that it has stolen his genitalia, and the only way he can be freed from its curse is if they confront it at the tunnel. After escaping the UFO's destruction, both Momo and the male student come to believe that both aliens and ghosts are real. Though she explains that she needs to stay with him in order to have the curse suppressed, the male student tells her that he will figure out some way to fix his mistake alone in order to not cause her any more trouble. Despite this, Momo insists on helping him and suddenly becomes flustered after the male student makes a statement similar to Ken Takakura. After calming down to dismiss any false accusations in her head, Momo asks him what his name was and becomes speechless to hear that it's Ken Takakura.